Money Radio, discussing the business of making and spending money.
Good day, viewers. You are welcome, very much welcome to another edition of Money Radio. And today, being Tuesday, you are on to the agribusiness segment of Money Radio. Today, we are discussing an interesting topic: the need for ranching to boost animal husbandry and forestall farmers' herder clashes. In the studio to discuss that with me is our regular face, an in-house analyst, Mr. Paul Wadiman. Mr. Paul, you're welcome.
Thank you, Paul.
And I'm your host, Case Hammond. You're welcome again. So, the need for ranching to boost animal husbandry and forestall farmers' herder clashes. You agree that there is so much we talk about boosting animal husbandry as well as forestalling herders, farmers clashes. Yes, there's a whole lot in that the country stands to gain once this issue is settled. So let's discuss the issue. First of all, give us an overview on what the problem is about herder farmer clashes and animal husbandry.
Okay, thank you very much for this question. In the past 10 years, about Nigeria has been having challenges of farmers, herders, clashes. Many lives have been lost in the process. Many farmers have been killed. It has led to what some people have even classified as ethnic cleansing and all that. The problem has to do with the issue of access to land. The farmer wants the land, the herder wants the land. But the major challenge is that there is no control, especially on the part of the herders, as a result of open grazing, because the herders move their cattle from one part of the country to another.
Yeah.
They move from city to city, grazing anywhere they can find grassland or anything that their cattle can eat. It was all well and good a long time ago when the population were smaller as it is today. You know that while the land is static, the population of Nigeria has been growing geometrically.
Yeah.
So what was possible before, when a herder can move his cattle from the north to the south without much conflict with farmers, is no longer possible today. It is because of population increase and also as a result of environmental factors.
Yes, talking about this environmental factor, climate change. Interestingly, we just concluded, or the global leaders just concluded COP26. But much of this problem, according to experts, is attributable to climate change. The desert is encroaching on the northern part of the country, which had hitherto been the home of many of these cattle.
Yes. Of course, climate change is playing a huge role in the environmental factors that exacerbated this issue of farmers' herders clashes. In 2008, Nigerian Meteorological Agency, in a study they published, they discovered that the number of rainy days has shrunk in northern Nigeria. It used to be 150 days in a year. It has shrunk to less than 120 days in a year.
That's serious.
Okay? And these have been attributed to the impact of climate change. Now, this issue happened, according to the data from them, in the last 30 years. So as a result of this, the yield in crop farming has gone low by 20%. The grassland has also shrunk. Desertification has become a major challenge in about 11 states in northern Nigeria. Now, these 11 states are places that hitherto were having grassland, or what you can call this the savanna grassland.
Yeah.
But now they are giving way to deserts. Places like Yobe, Borno, Jigawa, and many other parts of northeast and northwest.
To an extent, that means
as a result of this, ordinarily, when the population of Nigeria was not much, under the transhumance practice, the cattle rearer moves from the north. During the dry season, he moves to the south.
Yeah.
During the rainy season, he goes back. But you now discover that when he goes to the south, he hardly wants to go back again.
Because of lack of water.
Because of lack of grassland,
yeah,
that are shrinking in the north.
And water.
So he tried to make the south his permanent abode. But the south is also increasing in population.
Yeah.
The south is also not immune to climate change factors. The impact of climate change is diminishing land area through erosion in the south. A whole swath of land in southeast are being taken over by body erosion. Southeast, south. So the land areas in those places are shrinking also, while the populations are increasing.
That means
so it's a good ground for conflict.
Yes, people are just looking for the little that is left of the land.
You can see some people, they used to make jokes that Niger State is bigger than the whole 5 states of southeast.
Yeah.
Okay, yet the headers want to also be in the same southeast that is being ravaged by gully erosion and all types of erosion that are swallowing buildings, swallowing land for agriculture. So these are the challenges that enable conflict between farmers and herders. Now, it is this conflict that has led to a situation where many experts and the policymakers have said, okay, wait a minute, we cannot continue with this open grazing.
Yeah.
A whole lot of lives are being lost. We are having food security challenges. Farmers cannot go to their farms because of this conflict. We have herders wielding AK-47, scared away farmers from going to farm. They say, no, we can't continue with this process. We must look for a modern way of doing this. We must find a way of solving this problem. Several ideas have been bandied about, but the most acceptable one, which appears to have been agreed by generality of Nigerians, is that ranching should be embraced by herders or for animal husbandry.
Yeah.
The federal government, especially under President Muhammad Buhari, are tinker with the idea of resuscitating grazing reserve, which was a disputed issue, whether that can be possible given the population of Nigeria today. At the end of the day, everybody seemed to agree that the only workable solution has been the best all over the world right now,
which is ranching.
Ranching. That is why I believe is the future. If we are serious about improving animal husbandry farming in Nigeria and improving the protein and nutrition values that Nigerians get from it.
So, Mr. Paul, before we discuss, before we come to discussing the merits and demerits of ranching, I would like us to discuss a little bit. Are there rules that govern the movement of cattle around the country?
Basically, there were no rules.
There were grazing
but there were local government entities that deals with the issue of stray animals.
All right.
Okay? Because in many local government, there are edicts that handle if your goat stray, if your cattle stray, the penalty you pay for that.
Yes.
But you know that in our country, observing the rule of law is a challenge.
Yeah.
Many a times these laws exist, but they are rarely obeyed. Okay, if you see somebody with a head of cattle and he's wearing AK-47, and you're a local government official, what do? You stop him and tell him what? So that's the challenge. There are rules that are supposed to guide how you move your animal from one place to another, but they are not adhered to. They are not obeyed by headers, to my knowledge.
Mhm.
Because if they are obeyed, then there wouldn't be the conflict we are talking about. Because herders used to carry their cattle and they enter people's farms and they destroy crops, and these are the root of the conflict we witnessed in the past 10 years or more in this country.
So before we go forward, let's talk a little bit about the merits and demerits of ranching. Are there demerits of ranching, first of all?
There are merit in ranching is enormous.
That
Because why I'm saying that is enormous, because if we look at ourselves, okay, let me give you a typical example. According to statistica.com, we have about 1.5 billion cattle in the world.
Yeah.
Out of this number, Nigeria has only 12 million.
cattle, yeah.
And what is our system? Our system is open grazing.
Yes.
So our system is not able to make us among the top cattle rearing nations.
Because of open
So
grazing.
because of open grazing, we're not able to feed our cattle well. We're not able to breed them more. Because if you look at the figures, if you look at the top cattle breeding nations, you talk about India with about 305 million cattle.
Those ones, let me not say.
Now you talk about Argentina, you talk about Brazil, United States, you are talking about China, and most of these countries they practice ranching, because that is the best way you can get the best out of your cattle.
Yes, it makes
But
sense.
that score, it shows that there's no justification. There's nothing that could recommend open grazing.
Yes,
There's nothing to recommend it. Even if people look at it from cultural perspective, that somebody have been acculturized to live like that by moving from one place to another. Cultures change. When a dominant culture meets a lesser culture, the dominant culture takes over.
yeah,
Technology and scientific way of doing things is taking over the world. We cannot pretend that because we want to preserve culture, we still continue the way we were before.
yeah, it doesn't make sense.
Yes.
You know, just
And in terms of productivity, as I told you, we are barely producing 12 million cattle. Now, imagine if we go full blast into ranching, we could become a major meat exporter in the world.
yes,
Already, you see, Brazil is exporting about $12 billion worth of cattle to Russia alone annually. So it shows you the potential in this industry. And if you look at it, there are many countries that even the number of cattle they have in their country is bigger than the population of the country. The number of cattle in Argentina is bigger than the population of Argentina, is bigger than the population of Brazil, is bigger than the population of Australia, is bigger than the population of New Zealand. Yet there are no conflict between farmers and herders in all these countries I mentioned, because they have chosen to follow the technology as a process.
the sensible way of doing it.
Yeah,
you know, if you look at our cattle, look at the screen there.
they look more
They
malnourished.
they look malnourished, and it's not animals. Sorry, it's not rocket science to know why our cattle look malnourished. First of all, they seem to be the most exercised
Exactly.
creatures. You know, naturally, if you take it from the perspective of us humans, when we move about, when we exercise and move about, those of us who, or those people who engage in much physical activity, you come to realize that you tend to shed weight when you are moving about. So when you are sitting in one place, you you accumulate weight.
Yes. Because
Now,
when you keep them in one place, you can even be able to monitor them.
you monitor them, and
They will feed better.
their ability to procreate, I believe, with the movement, daily movement, in fact, hourly movement here and there, their ability to procreate may be diminished because, uh, taking it from the human perspective, when you are tired, the need to procreate or the need to copulate becomes that desire reduces. I think the same thing happens with these cows. Now, this Sokoto State Sokoto State has embraced this open grazing, and they are seeing good results. I would like us to
You mean open grazing or ranching?
no ranching. Yes, they have embraced ranching, and they have already started seeing good results. Which I watched a documentary, and they are already showing good results. Currently, the cattle industry in Nigeria is worth something like 13 trillion. With ranching, I believe it can go far more than that. But when we come back, we will discuss what we can learn from Sokoto State and some of the other merits of ranching. Let's take a short break. Be with us. When we come back to discuss Sokoto.
For sponsorship and advert placements, please contact 080-3688-6158. Last Word Leadership Podcast Studio. You have the last word.
Money Radio, discussing the business of making and spending money.
Welcome back to the agribusiness segment of Money Radio. Still with me in the studio is with Mr. Paul Wadima, and I'm your host, Case Hammond. So just before we went on break, we were talking about lessons we can learn from Sokoto State, which has embraced ranching. Sokoto State has embraced ranching, and they are seeing some results. I watched a documentary on a television station not long ago. You see that with the embracing of ranching, Sokoto State has been able to produce more cattle. The milk has increased. The production of milk has increased in that state as a result of ranching. So let's talk about it. What is going on there? What can we learn?
I think the whole country has a lot to learn from what they are doing in Sokoto in terms of embracing ranch. But it's not only Sokoto that has embraced ranching. Don't forget that even Benue State has embraced ranching. The Anti-Open Grazing Act that state passed a few years ago was basically to encourage ranching.
Yeah.
Only that it has been politicized by certain interests. But it was basically a sign that Benue want to embrace ranching as a solution to the leaders farmers conflict. The importance of ranching cannot be overemphasized because ranching will make it possible for the cattle to be taken care of in one place. They will be better fed. They will produce better milk. Even crossbreeding with cow from other parts of the world can be easily done. They will produce better milk and lack bigger quantity of milk. It has been proven that a lot of successes are also being noticed in Kaduna State, where they are doing a form of ranching there. Although the governor called his own grazing reserve, but it's basically the same thing in terms of having a place that is reserved for them to be taken care of. However, there's something needs to be addressed. Remember the Asaba Declaration, where the southern governors banned open grazing and encourage all the states in the south to pass anti-open grazing laws. A lot of states have done that. They have passed the law.
Yes, some 17.
Yes, but there's also need for transition. No, people have not looked at the issue of transition. When you make this law, are they going to take off immediately, or there should be a transition period between the time the header have been acculturized to open graze to embrace ranching? I believe that there should be a transition period. That transition period could be like a year, it could be like 18 months, or it could also be smaller. If CBN, Central Bank of Nigeria, and the state government are to embrace it and fund this transition. What does this transition mean? There should be funding for headers land, and the land should be equipped with the infrastructure. And the infrastructure they require is not that much.
Yeah,
if the land is available. Already Kano state government said they have enough land. So it's an indication that some states are providing incentives. A normal ranch should have at least a place for the cattle to feed. They do need water.
Yes.
So there should be borehole with generator for electricity because of lack of constant power supply in Nigeria. Or these ranches could be also located where they are closer to water bodies, so that the challenges of transporting water through water tankers to the farm would not be an issue. All these things cost money. Many of the headers themselves cannot be able to provide it. That is why there is a need for synergy between the federal government and the state governments, so that they create a transition period through which it will be harmonized how to raise funds for land acquisition for these headers, so that they can be able to acquire land, be able to provide infrastructure. Those of them that are already big time headers that have plenty of headers, they can also sell part of their head and use it to raise money to acquire land and provide infrastructure.
Yeah, because that is a business.
Because some people can also say, okay, why should government do that? But government job is also to provide enabling environment. Enabling environment is as amorphous. It could be by provision of land.
Yeah.
It could be by making power accessible. But you know, even when government give you power, you still pay for it.
Of course.
It's not that government supply you light, they pay for you.
I get this feeling.
So those are the issues that need to be addressed, and it's not being looked into right now.
I get this feeling some people are rejecting ranching because it has some financial implications. And the financial implications I'm talking about include the need to purchase land if it is not provided by the state or the federal government. The issue of taxation may come in, and then the financial implication of building, like you mentioned, boreholes for water, and it may also include getting food. There are dry rations that can be gotten for this.
If you
So probably some of these financial implications is what is discouraging.
yes, but whether they have financial, there's no financial implication that the Nigerian financial institutions cannot handle between the central bank and the commercial banks.
Now look at
And
people
then
who have
between
been
the
used
experts.
to.
Let me give you a typical example. In Sudan,
Yes.
which is a country that also suffer from arid environmental situation like many parts of northern Nigeria.
Yes.
You know, they take advantage of the Nile Valley.
Yes.
So the Nile Valley, the valley of the Nile, they plant a grass that they call, is a protein-enriched grass. They call alfalfa. Now, what do? They plant it on at the Nile Valley bank and sell them to the ranches all over the country in Sudan. So things like that. Nigeria is our worship river. So there could be some people who go into the business of providing rich proteinous grass.
Yeah, that makes sense.
You can be harvesting them in the south and be moving to the market. Yeah.
That is just those are job opportunities we're talking about.
Yes, that's
those are job
opportunities. So we need to look at it holistically. And when we do, we discover that it's a win-win situation for everyone.
It is.
Both and as I told you, Nigeria is blessed with water bodies all over the country, which farmers, some people can go into farming just to go put in rich grasses for cattle.
Yes.
They can sell to all the ranches all over the country. And you can imagine the amount of jobs that will be created and impact it's going to have in our history.
Mr. Bodo, before we go to I would like us to discuss, but there's a Hamza Khalid who is asking a question there. He said, who are the problem causes? The farmers or the holders, the cattle holders? So,
the truth of the matter is that the major conflict, one, you have to blame the environmental factors first.
yeah.
Then you have to blame enforcement has been very poor. The reason why this conflict persists because when there is a conflict between farmers and herders, those have the responsibility of settling it have also been found out to be biased. So there was confidence
Yes.
in the ability of the state to settle this problem.
We are running out of time. There's an issue about
must also note that farmer is in his farm. It is the cattle that come to him. So it's not only for you to judge. The man who is in his farm and farming, and somebody lay the head of cattle to come to his farm, who should be blamed? I'm answering that. I'm referring to Hamza. So you should be able to figure out who should be blamed in that kind of thing.
That segues into another issue that we should have discussed long time ago, and that is how has this affected farming and agricultural production and food availability to the public, which of course we think inflation rise.
This conflict is at the root of the food scarcity you are facing in the country today. Food in the country of Nigeria today is dead in this conflict between farmers and herders.
Yes.
That is why it's important for it to be solved. To solve the problem of farmers and herders clashes. Farmers will troop to the farms. They will no longer be afraid of wealthy herders that are spending their lives all the time. So it's important that this issue is solved. If it is solved, the price of food in this country will be more than half. It will be to the benefit of even the herder. If he stays one place, the amount of meat he will generate, the amount of cattle he will generate will be higher than ever before. But there may be a challenge within the transition period, during the period in which the cattle rearers transit from open grazing to ranching. Within this period, Nigerians should brace up for high cost of meat, but it will be temporary. In the long run, the whole thing will better out, and the demand and supply will equalize everything, and they will be a major exporter of food, not just meeting the market demand in Nigeria, be a major meat exporter.
Yes, and talking about meat exportation,
we have all it takes
yeah,
to be able to do that.
Talking about meat, a number of countries in the sub-region, we're talking about the West African sub-region, that do not produce meat at all. They depend on neighboring countries. So there is a ready market there for Nigeria's meat if the countries need enough meat. So that's the much we can take today on the agribusiness segment of Money Radio. I've been your host, Case Hammond. I would like to say thank you, Mr. Paul, for being here. Always make yourself available to analyze the issues we have in agribusiness. Our producer, we say thanks to you who are loyally following us. We appreciate it very much. COVID-19 is real. Stay safe and stay blessed.
Thank you for watching. For sponsorship and advert placements, please contact 080-3688-6158. Last Word Leadership Podcast Studio. You have the last word. Thank you for watching. For sponsorship and advert placements, please contact 080-3688-6158. Last Word Leadership Podcast Studio. You have the last word.